Lots of stuff going on this Saturday morning. It has been so fun already with the live show and lots of things going on. Family hanging out on the porch. I got to go back and beekeep to see how those queens are doing. I'm going to let the horses out while I'm back there, just in case things get stirred up. Come on, Teo. And Maggie. Have fun. The bees don't like the horses, and the horses don't like the bees. When I'm back there messing with stuff, the horses like to be out. We're a little distance away from the hives back here. I'm going to go ahead and put my hood on because over the last week, we've had plenty of incidents where the bees have come out beyond their normal range, at least as far as defending the hive. I don't want them to get stuck in my hair. I wondered where that hat was. Found it. Today I'm sporting my Nectar Bar hat. If you don't know who that is, go check out the Nectar Bar on Facebook. Drake White, the butterfly princess. Can I say that, Drake? The butterfly queen. The one who knows pollinators and butterflies. Check her out. Now I remember why that hat's in there. That's the one Mama Curbs was wearing when she left me last weekend. Left me in the apiary. I'm only a little bit nervous, not because of this, but if you can see that, you know, I put in chunks of dried horse poo. You can't really see it. It burns really well. I'm only a little bit nervous about potentially those queens not having worked out. What that would mean is that the hive killed the queen that I paid for, and I'll have to somehow either do it again, buy new queens, or let them requeen themselves, divide the hives, and work toward building up those hives and requeening them later. I did bring a few extra nuke boxes out here just in case I do go that route of dividing. But I'm really hoping the queens just made it. Let's get into this split first to see how they're building up in that top box of that double stacked 5-frame nuke. A lot of bees on the lid. Looks like they didn't do a lot of building yet. Every one of those frames in that top box are still empty, so I'm gonna just take a look inside in the bottom to see if that queen cell hatched out. There are 3 queen cups, potentially to be queen cells on this frame. Trying to keep it over the hive here. They're bringing pollen in. The mesquite is getting ready to flower big. That's going to be a big source for pollen and nectar. And I don't see that queen cell that we saw last time. I was hoping to see some brood, some eggs or something. So the Hive 1 split has lots of bees. They look strong, but they have no brood and no eggs. So maybe they did rear a queen and she's out on her mating flight, or maybe they're just queenless. In which case, I need to put some brood in there to help them out. I think for now I'm going to leave this top box off so that I can more easily get in there and add a frame of brood when I get into this other box. Alright, let's open Hive 1. So that first one that you just saw was Hive 1 split. I'm wearing this bee suit because my normal beekeeping pants, the heavy canvas pants, are in the laundry. And my vintage jacket I can't wear with, you know, thin pants. We do have the queen excluder on the top of this. There's 2 medium boxes on top of that queen excluder. We're just going to take a few frames out of the top box to see how they're doing, if they're building anything, and then not mess with those for too long. And just by glancing in, it looks like they haven't really built anything. There are a few frames up here that had the comb already on them, but I don't see any new comb. So we're going to just take that one off. Like I said, the mesquite is getting ready to flower. That's going to be a lot of nectar and pollen available for these bees to start their honey flow. Now so far they're being very gentle. They have a lot of nectar in this one. Theoretically, there would be no queen up here because of the queen excluder. There was some brood up here, so let's see if it's hatched out. There's still some brood. No eggs, so that's a good sign. But there is still some brood in there. No new eggs, so that's positive, at least in this top box. We hope to see eggs in the lower box, but not. Come on. We had 1 sting, so that's... Again, they have a lot of brood to finish up here. But no new eggs. Okay, I'm going to put this top box back together and take it off and get down below that queen excluder. Down here is the queen cage that we put in. And this is the wooden cage, so that would be the, let's see, which ones came? These were the gardener bees from Georgia. So I'm going to check that cage and then get in and check just to see how they're doing. Hopefully we do see some fresh eggs. If there's no queen in that cage and there's eggs, then there's a good chance that our queen did get accepted. Actually, I think that would mean 100% because there hasn't been enough time for them to rear a new queen. That's all nectar up there, so no brood. There is some new wax on this one. And there are some larvae in this one as well. Those may have been from before. The queen cage cork candy is gone. In fact, the wooden cork on the other end is gone. So there's bees in there, but there's no queen in there. With the exception of just a few guard bees, they're actually doing pretty well. There is some very young larvae in here, and eggs. That means there's a queen. Within the last 3 days, there is a queen in here. So unless they reared one from a cell that I didn't see before, I'm going to say this was a success. There's eggs on this side too, so whatever queen is in here is busy. I'm going to just put it together and be satisfied that there's something positive going on and move on to hive number 2. Whew. Don't you guys feel better about that? I mean, look at that. I was in this hive, not a lot of activity, and there's eggs. The queen nest, the queen cage is empty. Hive 1, success. Sometimes I wonder if the beekeeping videos are kind of like watching a race car, you know, the NASCAR or something like that, where the the car wrecks are the most exciting part. And I wonder if you guys like it when the bees get all crazy because it's more entertaining. But I don't. I like it when they're nice and gentle and things are happening to where they and I can be happy. I forgot to put a frame of brood in that hive 1 split. So maybe I'll get some out of hive 2. Let's see. If you remember from last week, hive 2 was crazy. The lid is open. The craziness has not ensued. Looks like they might need another box. It's a good thing I brought some out. There's one box above the queen excluder on this one. We're just going to take a look in here. They are definitely building that box of honey. They have room to work on this frame. And it looks like every other frame has lots of fresh comb on it. A lot of people will say when 6 or 7 or 8 of the frames are full, it's time to add another box. So I think we are going to add another one on top of this. They have a little room to work, so it looks like they're probably they have 9 frames full with a little room to work on a couple of them. Yep. That's the way it is. So I'm going to just put this top box together and pull it off, because I don't need to get in and check out every frame of honey. Although I do like looking at honey frames. Alright, let's get this top box off. That's above the queen excluder. Oh, very heavy. Let's see what's going on down here as far as queen business goes. I should have watched my video again before coming back out here, because I don't know where I put that. Alright, let's just go. They do have some fresh comb on this one. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, this frame is the pollen cake or bee bread and nectar. Same on both sides. The bees have not expressed any defensive behavior really yet. And I'm only doing that to sort of ensure that they don't start. I think that's all resources as well. There's some brood on this side. Lots and lots of brood on that one. And I do see eggs, so there's a queen. There's a queen busy in here. Let's check out, let's see if we can find that queen cage. We got to be very gentle. That queen was still fairly small. I am impressed with the difference in behavior. Okay, I'm going to put this top box back together and move it so I can get into that bottom box. I'm going to try to do that while they're still fairly happy. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer a nice gentle beekeeping video like this, or if you like the train wreck, car wreck. If you like the train wreck, I will not be staging that. Alright, let's move this box. What we're looking for, again, is that queen cage to be empty and eggs to be present. We've already seen some eggs, so it stands to reason that that queen cage is empty and everything's fine, but we're just going to get in here. If I can get this frame out. Lots of pollen, bee bread, lots and lots of it. Can you see it in there? I'm just going to scoot these over and get straight down to that. Where did it go? I know it's in there. So right there it is. Right there's that queen cage. I'm going to scoot 3 frames over, check out that cage, look at a couple of frames in the middle. Candy cork is gone for sure. The queen cage is empty, cleaned out, and we saw eggs. So again, we could just button this up and call it a success. I'm going to look at a couple of frames in the bottom box just to be sure. But I think we have a double success. Man, that makes me feel so good, because last week, all week, I've been really nervous about how that went, because I wasn't real confident. You could probably see that in the last video. Eggs are definitely present, so I'm not really looking for her so much as I'm looking for evidence of her. And that's it. I'm going to button this hive up. It looks good. Okay, back to hive number 1 split. That one's over there. Back to hive number 1 split. I am going to take this one frame, the medium frame that had the extra comb on it and the brood, and put it in there. But I would like to go back into hive number 1 and find a frame of brood. I wish I would have thought of that before so I didn't have to open it twice, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Alright, where does that leave us? Let's see if we can recap. Hive 1 split now has a frame of brood with eggs out of Hive 1. Hive 1 queen success. Hopefully I didn't put the queen in there. I shook them off, so it shouldn't be the case. Hive 1 looks good with brood and eggs. They're starting to build honey. Hive 2 is building a lot of honey. They look good with brood and eggs. That's a lot of activity here in the Daddy Curb's bee yard. Some of it went really well there at the end. I did rile them up just a little bit because I think I squished a few bees in the process of moving those boxes, and they never like that. But even still, they're being much more calm than they were last week. I'm sure you can feel a different vibe in this video compared to last week. Hopefully all goes well and we'll end up with, let's see, right now, if all goes well, we'll end up with 5 hives, including those splits. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Here on the Daddy Curb's farm, I do truly believe that everyone has a story and every story counts. Thank you so much for being a part of my story through this video and letting me be a part of yours. I'll talk to you soon.